because we love a good adult still finding themselves. Let's not act like it all comes together after 18, because it just doesn't. I cannot wait to be up in their drama. And also there's a murder that happens. Hello everyone, welcome or perhaps welcome back to my channel. My name is Summer, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys 24 books that I am super excited to be able to get my hands on in 2024. So I'll be honest, it's like 24-ish. So the cutoff might not be 24, but all these books I'm super excited about. I know there are tons of releases that are coming out, so I want you to comment down below releases that you were excited about getting. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll get started. So starting off with a book that comes out January 2nd, it's a YA book. It's called Stay With Me, and it is by Tache Bouillon. This is the same author that wrote Counting Down With You and also wrote A Show for Two. So the premise of this book is about this girl, and she loves and breathes music, and so it's giving she has a little bit of like father issues because she thinks that like maybe if she succeeds in like wanting to do A&R coordinating, that her dad will finally give her the time of day. And she's also dealing with the passing of her mom, and it seems like her dad is still really grieving that. So she accidentally sabotages an upcoming local band. And I guess the guy's name is like Third Eye, or the band's name is Third Eye. And so she makes it her mission to kind of like, I guess, make up for that without them discovering that she's the one who did it. So it ends up being like this romance book where she ends up falling for him while she's also in the midst of like, you know, her dad issues, trying to find herself, it seems like, and trying to help this band that she ends up sabotaging but tries to fix. So this next book comes out January 9th, and it is also a YA book. I promise this video is not all about YA books, but it just happened to be on the upcoming list in order. So this book is called Araya's Kahana's Bollywood Moment.
Okay, so correction, is actually pronounced Kana.
I'm so sorry if I butchered that. Okay, so this is about a girl that gets her Bollywood moment because her sister ends up getting engaged to a guy that's like all about this lifestyle. So it says she ends up playing like mediator between her sister and her mom's fights, and then she's also dealing with the fact that she's now gonna have like a new brother-in-law, which is also going to give her, it seems like, a different perspective of life. So it seems like this is going to be a little bit of like coming of age story too, and her being able to experience different things because of the opportunities that are now being given to her. Next we have Come and Get It by Riley Reid, and this also comes out January 9th. And listen, I am so excited about this book because I feel like when I read Such a Fun Age, I didn't love it as much as I should have loved it. Like, it actually was a good book, and I literally ended up reading it in 2 days. And this was like around the time where I was like really trying to get into like being able to finish books completely, because I would just be like, So this book, Come and Get It, is 2017, and this girl is going to the University of Arkansas. So it says that she's a senior resident assistant, which really relates to me because I was a senior resident assistant, but I was a resident assistant in general. It says she wants to graduate, get a job, and buy a house. Girl, don't we all? Don't we all? Love it for you if you're already at that level. But so it says she gets like a visit from like her professor, and he offers her a chance of an unusual opportunity, so she jumps to it. And so I think that's kind of like the midst of it, like, okay, so like what's going on, girl? Like, do you end up in a situation where like you don't want to be, or like what's happening? The next book comes out January 9th, and it's called Shut Up, This Is Serious. All right, so apparently it's about this girl who is just trying to like, she just wants to experience like normal stuff in her life, or like have a boyfriend or experience any of that other stuff, but her father left her family, she's at risk of not graduating, and her super Catholic nerdy best friend is pregnant by the boyfriend she hasn't told her parents about because he's black and her parents are racist. All right, so it says it's also weighed by depression that she's going through. She's hanging out with older guys, she cuts a lot of classes, and she soon realizes the distractions are only temporary, and she starts to concern what future is there for girls like her. Okay, this is a book that if I would have read this as like a high school student, I would have like begged my parents to buy me this, honestly. So it seems like a lot is going on with this girl. And I love a good YA book where like a lot is going on and it's actually like real life stuff that people are going through. Not saying that people make books about like unrealistic things, but anyway, so I'm super excited for this to come out. The next book we have is Love Me, a novel by Jessica Sanders. This comes out January 16th. And this is about Rachel Miller. She's a lawyer, she's a mother of two, and she's just as comfortable in the courtroom as she is on the sidelines of a soccer field. So it says her marriage is on an autopilot. Okay, this is This is why I'm so excited for this book, because I love a marriage in crisis. Her marriage isn't going well, right? But she has like this ex-boyfriend who now is like famous, and it says that, you know, everything is going great until someone releases racy photos of her and her high school boyfriend, who is now a famous actor. And it says that this newfound attention calls into question her marriage, her career, and her superstar ex, betrayed by someone she trusted and reunited with the man she tried so hard to forget. Rachel must ask herself, how did I get here and what do I really want? Because we love a good adult still finding themselves. Because let's not act like it all, like, let's not act like it all comes together after 18, because it just doesn't. So the next book I have is The Breakup Tour by Emily Weber and Austin Segman Broca. And this book comes out January 23rd. All right, so this book is about a girl named Riley, and so she ends up becoming a sensational songwriter overnight. So she writes a song about a breakup, but she has an ex-husband. So the ex-husband's like, oh, of course it's about me. But actually, it's not about him. And so she ends up calling her college boyfriend that the song is actually inspired by. And I think he's like going through some stuff. So he ends up agreeing to be like her, you know, come on tour-ish with her or whatever, as long as he can be in her band. And then they start to think maybe things can rekindle. And it's giving Taylor Swift, okay? It's giving Taylor Swift. All right, so now jumping into February, we have The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. So this is about a girl who, fashion is everything, a successful celebrity stylist. She travels all over the world, living out her dreams. And after surviving a very public breakup with her ex-fiance 6 months ago, she's now determined to focus on her career. But life hands her something else when she meets Xavier Wright that she didn't expect to run into. So long story short, they have a night together and they both end up waking up with rings on their fingers. So they both end up married. And so I'm really excited to see what this is going to be about. Plus, I think that Christina Forrest books really take you on a ride. The next book we have is coming out February 6th, and it's called The Reason I Married Him. It's by Megan Quinn. It's about this girl who thinks that she's going to be able to focus on like her family farm and helping her sister take over the family business. And just when she's ready for everything, Wyatt comes along, and he's like a long lost owner of the land, and he wants one thing from her hand in marriage. Not because he loves her, but because she's the key to what he needs, and he has no problem leveraging the farm to get what he wants. Sir. Okay, and so it's seeming like Marriage of Convenience, but not really. Marriage by Force, Marriage by Blackmail. I don't know, it seems like it's going to be exciting. All right, and then February 13th, by Lauren Piper Lee, there is Hannah Tate Beyond Repair. So it's about this girl, and she recently just had a baby. She's super excited because her baby daddy / her boyfriend, they're living together, and she finds an engagement ring. And so she's like, oh my gosh, of course he's going to propose to me, because like, who else? So she finds out he in fact is not going to propose to her. So she ends up leaving. She moves in with her mom and takes her like newborn baby, I believe. And so her mom is like almost going broke. So there's this like house vacation property or whatever that she's trying to like fix up so that way she can like save her mom from going broke. So she hires this carpenter who actually ends up he seems to end up just like respecting her and looking at her as more of like a woman and not just like a hot mess. And so that just seems really exciting, because again, like let's really be honest, like do any of us have it together nowadays? Because it's giving no. So all right, so entering into March, we have This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan, and this book comes out March 5th. And like, okay, if you're not hooked with like the books that she has, I don't know what's going on. Like maybe you're not reading them, but so it says that this girl has her life like all planned out because she plans everything out. She's so used to like having to fix things and being this person that fixes everything. She's worrying about like keeping a roof over her daughter's head, so she has all these things going on. And then this guy walks into her life that I think she's had like experiences with before, and so she's like asking herself, should she like trust him? Should she really let him in with all of the shambles that she's having to pick up from her life right now? Also on March 5th, we have Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. So I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read the last Finlay Donovan. I'm actually in the middle of reading the last Finlay Donovan book from the 3rd series, so I'm not sure if this is a continuum of the series, but what I do know is I will still be reading it, because I know the 2nd book was kind of like for some people, but I actually, you know, I liked it enough to be able to give the 3rd book another chance, which is why I'm currently reading it. So I actually don't want to look at the synopsis of this one, because I don't know if it like continues on with the rest of what she's doing. But it's basically like a cozy murder mystery book that, at least that's how it started off. So on March 12th, we have Happily Never After. This book is by Lynn Painter, and so the premise of this book is when Zoe finds out before her wedding that her fiance cheated again, she desperately employs the mystery Max to yell, "I object," at the altar. So she goes through this whole experience where apparently, like, he's the person that's like, nah, like, we're not doing this. And so then I think perhaps a romance ensues with them. That's really interesting. I always find books where, like, they stop getting married, like they agreed to marriage, or with the marriage, something happens, they stop the marriage. I always find those books to be really interesting. So another book that comes out March 12th is Such a Lovely Family by Aggie Blum Thompson. So it's about this family in DC, and they gather together to have like another event. They're always having like these events. And so they have a house full of friends, neighbors, their beloved ones, and 3 adult children. But something goes down when a murder happens. Throughout this murder, they find out that a lot of people have been keeping some very dark secrets. Parents who use money and emotional manipulation to control their children. There's 2 sons, one of the black sheep who is desperate to outrun mistakes he's made, and the other, a new father willing to risk everything to protect his child, and a daughter, an Instagram influencer, who refuses to face the truth about the man she married. And this just seems like yes, 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 yes. Like, I cannot wait to be up in their drama. And also, there's a murder that happens. Like, what's really going on? All right, so on March 14th, we have Where Sleeping Girls Lie. And this is a book by Farida Ebike Lamide. I hope I did not butcher that. So basically, this is a young adult mystery about this girl. So she's at this prestigious boarding school, and so basically, she discovers dark secrets amongst the school after her roommate disappears without a trace. And it seems as if, like, she's the one that's being blamed for it, I think. April 2nd, we have She's Not Sorry. And this is by Mary Kabaka. And so this is about an ICU nurse accidentally uncovers a patient's frightening past in this chilling thriller. So basically, it's about this woman who she's trying to find a balance between, like, being a working mom. And so while duty on hospital, a patient named Caitlin arrives in a coma with a traumatic brain injury, having jumped from a bridge and plunging over 20 feet to the train tracks below. And so it starts to be in question, like, did she actually jump, or did someone, like, push her? Like, what's going on with that? Through this, Megan, which is the nurse, sorry, has always tried to stay emotionally detached from her patients, but this time she mistakenly lets herself get too close, and she's deeply entangled in Caitlin and her family's lives. Only when it's too late does she realize that she and her daughter could be the next victims. So it's definitely giving Caitlin did not potentially jump. Coming out on the same date, we have the reappearance of Rachel Price. So it says that this is about a girl who is trying to film the documentary of her missing mom. So it says 18-year-old Belle has lived her whole life in the shadow of her mom's mysterious disappearance. 16 years ago, Rachel Price vanished, and young Belle was the only witness, but she has no memory of it. Rachel is gone, long presumed dead, and Belle wishes everyone would just move on. But the case is dragged up from the past when the Price family agreed to a true crime documentary. Belle can't wait to filming to end. So she can't wait for the filming to end and for life to go back to normal. But then the impossible happened. Rachel Price reappears and life will never be normal again. Because where were you at, girl? Like, what actually happened? So on April 4th, we have the Kiss Countdown. And this is by Etta Easton. So it's about this girl, and she's recently went through like a breakup. And so basically she runs into like her ex at this coffee shop, and life is just not lifing right now for her. So she lies and ends up saying, because she runs into her ex with his new girlfriend, I believe. So she ends up saying that she's dating this astronaut that she sees there at the coffee shop, and they end up going in some type of exchange for like fake dating. Also, I think she needs a place to live, so it might be like forced proximity type of thing. So I'm excited to see what that's about. Okay, and a book that's coming out April 16th is called Late Bloomer, and so it's about this girl who she ends up winning the lottery, and so she like quits her job, and so apparently she's like going through like a hard time of like people running over her, or maybe in the past they ran over her and she wasn't respected at her job. So she's going through all this stuff. People end up, of course, since she won the lottery, trying to like come at her because she won the lottery. So it's like a sapphic opposite attract novel. And so she ends up buying this flower shop or flower farm in Asheville, North Carolina, which is like so ironic because I go to school in North Carolina. But anyways, so basically she buys this property and she ends up finding out that someone actually owns it. And so they try to come into an agreement. They try to come with an agreement on if they can be able to like get along with like maybe like co-running the flower shop, like all this. And so it ends up being a romance ensuing. So, all right. So April 24th, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. And so this one sounds very interesting. So it's about a girl who she feels like So she's like in this like relationship with her fiance, and obviously because they're fiancés, and she's like so in love with him, and he always like tells a story about them. However, he then realizes that he's actually in love with his best friend. And so she begins like her new story, which lands her in Michigan without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian. Aw, that barely pays the bills. Okay, so while she's in Michigan, she ends up meeting this guy, and they end up falling into like this plan. But it says it's all for a show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her new fiance's ex, right? And I'm like, okay, so did y'all just swap? Like, what's going on with this? What's happening? So heading into June, we have Daydream, and this comes out June 4th, and it's a part of the Maple Hills series by Hannah Grace. So this book follows Henry, and so Henry Turner knows he's going to have to work extra hard to survive his junior year of college, so now he's like the ice hockey captain, which he didn't even want, and he can't fail. So he's really struggling with school, but he ends up meeting, or not meeting, but he ends up talking to Haley, a fellow junior who finds herself befriended by Henry when he accidentally crashes her book club. So she may not have the most romantic pursuits of her favorite fictional leads, but she's an academic superstar. So basically they have to get together because he agrees to, she's like trying to like tutor him or whatnot, but she also has a lot going on. So like she's trying to write a book, and it says being a private tutor isn't exactly ideal, giving her own job, the novel she's trying to write, new experiences, and the key to beating her writer's block. Though, and Henry's promising to be the one to give them to her. They just need to stick to their rule, and not fall in love. Then June 11th, we have Everyone I Kissed Since You Got Famous. Okay. And this book is by May Marvel. Home for the Holidays makes a bet with her former best friend turned online sensation. Katie Price is known in every living room in America. A small town Wisconsin girl who became an A-list star, she rarely makes it home. This year is different. Little does she know, it will lead her straight into the piercing blue-eyed gaze of Will Green. A lot has happened in the decades since those cold Wisconsin nights. So like there's a lot going on. The girl's father passed away, and what started as a personal challenge, kissing a new person twice a week, every week, has made her a growing sensation. But her life is stuck in a phase now. Through the years, the two have never left each other's thoughts and desires, but now suddenly they are back in each other's lives. So will they rekindle or will they not, is the question. Will they rekindle or will they not? All right, entering into July 2nd, we have A Legend in the Baking, and this is by Jamie Wesley, and Jamie Wesley seems to write a lot of like guy baking-ish stories. So this one follows a guy who ends up, I think his name's August, and he ends up becoming like famous on social media because he talks about how like him baking doesn't take away like his masculinity or whatnot. I think it also makes him like the hottest bachelor in town. With a new location in the works, August and his partners decide to capitalize on this perfect opportunity to help cement their place in the community. But the hiring of his best friend's younger sister, the woman who has haunted some of his best dreams for years, was as much of a shock as his newfound fame. So she is a social media manager, I believe, and so I think it ends up being one of those things where like he's really falling / she's really falling for her brother's best friend. All right, and then we have The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. This comes out July 9th. All right, so basically it's about this hockey player named Ian, and he has a very public breakup, and it becomes like a PR night for him, and he hopes to focus on his game, but that suddenly seems less likely than a hat trick, with his career and the team's image in jeopardy. So because the team image is in jeopardy, they reach out to one of the team members' best friend's little sister. She offers up the half-baked idea to collaborate with her brother's team to entice the hockey fans of Boston to tune into her show. So she thinks it'll be a piece of cake until she ends up falling for him. So the girl's name is Celia Baker, and she's known for the darling of baking on her local cable show. And being in the public eye is her bread and butter, so she like loves it. So she's like the perfect person for this job, but I think he ends up like falling for her / she ends up falling for him / I think that she already had a long crush on him, but she was like the little sister. All right, so another book that's coming out July 9th is The Next Best Fling. This is by Gabriela Gamez, and so this is about two broken hearts decide that the best way to get over their first loves is a nurturing attached relationship. So she has an ex named Theo who is an ex NFL player, an older brother of the man she's in love with. When she discovers Theo's plan to confess his feelings for his brother's fiance at their engagement party, She manages to convince him to sleep off his drunken almost mistake at her place, and when they arrive at a family brunch the next day together, everyone wrongly assumes that they hook up. And so I assume it just goes downhill from there. So there are no boundaries for the rebound relationship they form, just a host of complicated feelings, messy family dynamics, and undiscovered secrets that threaten to tear them apart before they can even admit to themselves that their rebound is working. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I thought the book at first when I read the premise was about this girl having to stop this man from like marrying him since she's like in love with him. But girl says, listen, I gotta move on with my life. So July 16th, we have The Au Pair Affair, and this is by Tessa Bailey. It's the second book in the Big Shot series, but the first one doesn't really interest me, so I'm not even gonna. So it's about this girl named Tallulah, and so she's 20 and broke. So she ends up jumping at the opportunity to get paid while living in a super fancy neighborhood for this star hockey player, and he's like a single dad, and it says her tween charge isn't the only one who could use some help fitting in. Apparently the hockey player needs some help with like his like dating image and all of that, and but I think he's also like a single dad, so she helps with like all that. So she's the nanny, she helps like form the fake relationship. The very last book I have comes out August 6th, and it's actually one of the few books that I have for August so far. So this one is by Casey McCuistion, and it is called The Pairing. I've literally been raving about Red, White, and Royal Blue because I just now saw the movie, so I'm like super excited. This is about two bisexual characters, Theo and Kit, and so they have a lot of things. They're childhood best friends, crushes in love, and now estranged lovers. So basically they've had time apart, and Theo has found confidence as a hustling bartender. Kit, who never returned to America, bakes at one of the finest restaurants in Paris, and all that remains is the unused voucher for the European tour that never happened. So it's only good for 48 months, so 4 years later, it seems like a great idea to finally take the trip, solo, separately, but they end up finding out that they both had the same idea. So now they're trapped with each other for 18 days of stunning views, luscious flavors, and the most romantic cities of France, Paris, and Italy. It's fine. There's nothing between them. So in order to prove that there's still nothing between them, they decide to have a hookup competition, seeing who can hook up with the most people, I'm assuming, and to prove that they're so not over each other. So I'm like, so that sounds like it's going to be so good. So these are all my most anticipated books for 2024. I'm sure there are a lot that I missed, and there were some that I just had to kind of like cut out so I could kind of keep it 24-ish. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to comment down below books that you are super excited about for 2024. I am hoping to have a much better reading month in 2024, considering that things are going to be a little bit more relaxed. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.